I could play a full song. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Now, I know that persistence pays off. Whether it's learning an instrument, a language, or a skill, the key is to keep trying, even when you want to give up. 2. Moving to a new city. Last year, I moved to a new city for work. At first, it was exciting. Everything was new: the people, the places, and the opportunities. But after a few weeks, I started to feel lonely. I didn't know anyone, and it was hard to meet new friends. I missed my old routines and familiar faces. But slowly, I began to explore more. I visited cafes, joined local groups, and started talking to my neighbors. It took time, but now this new city feels like home. Moving can be hard, but it's also a chance to grow and experience something different. 3. Learning a new language. I've always admired people who speak multiple languages. It's like they have a superpower. When I decided to learn a new language, I knew it wouldn't be easy. At first, it felt impossible. So many new words and strange grammar rules. But I set small goals. Each week, I focused on learning a few phrases. Little by little, I started to understand more. One day, I found myself having a short conversation with a native speaker. It wasn't perfect, but I was proud. Learning a language is a challenge, but it opens doors to new cultures and friendships. 4. The benefits of volunteering. Volunteering has always been a big part of my life. It's a way to give back to the community and help those in need. I started volunteering at a local food bank a few years ago. At first, I didn't know what to expect, but over time, I realized how much of a difference we were making. People who struggled to feed their families were grateful for even the smallest acts of kindness. Volunteering has shown me the importance of compassion and teamwork. It's not just about giving, it's also about learning and connecting with others. 5. The importance of mental health. In today's fast-paced world, we often forget to take care of our mental health. For years, I focused only on my work and responsibilities, thinking that's all that mattered. But then, I started to feel overwhelmed. I wasn't sleeping well, and my stress levels were through the roof. That's when I realized I needed to focus on myself. I started meditating, exercising, and talking to a therapist. It wasn't easy, but it made a huge difference. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Taking time to relax and recharge is essential for a balanced life. 6. Traveling alone. There's something special about traveling alone. The first time I did it, I was nervous. What if something went wrong? What if I got lost? But once I arrived at my destination, all those fears disappeared. I had the freedom to explore at my own pace, without worrying about anyone else's schedule. I met new people, tried different foods, and visited places I'd only seen in photos. Traveling alone gave me confidence and a sense of independence. It taught me that sometimes the best adventures are the ones we take by ourselves. 7. Overcoming fear of public speaking. Public speaking used to terrify me. My heart would race, my hands would shake, and I'd forget everything I wanted to say. But it's a skill I knew I needed to develop. I started by practicing in front of a mirror, then moved on to speaking in front of small groups. The more I practiced, the more comfortable I became. Now, I can give presentations with confidence. The fear doesn't go away completely, but I've learned to manage it. Public speaking is a valuable skill, and it's something anyone can improve with enough practice. 8. The role of technology in our lives. Technology has become such a big part of our daily lives. From smartphones to smart homes, we rely on it for almost everything. On one hand, it's made life more convenient. We can stay connected with people across the world, access information instantly, and automate daily tasks. But it's also important to disconnect sometimes. Spending too much time online can lead to stress and anxiety. Finding a balance between using technology and enjoying real-life experiences is crucial. It's amazing what technology can do. but we have to remember to live in the moment as well. 9. The value of teamwork. Teamwork is essential in almost every aspect of life. Whether it's at work, in school, or during a sports game, working together allows us to achieve more than we could alone. I used to prefer working by myself, thinking I could do everything better on my own. But after being part of a few group projects, I realized how valuable teamwork can be. Each person brings something unique to the table, and together, we can solve problems faster and more creatively. Collaboration is key to success, and it's something I've learned to appreciate over time. 10. The power of positive thinking. A few years ago, I started practicing positive thinking. It wasn't easy at first. I was used to focusing on what could go wrong rather than what could go right. But slowly, I began to notice a change in my mindset. By focusing on the positives, I felt more motivated and less stressed. Of course, life still has its challenges, but now I approach them with a more optimistic outlook. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring problems. It's about believing that you can overcome them. It's a small change that can have a big impact on your life. 11. Time management. Time management is something I've struggled with for a long time. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you have too much to do and not enough hours in the day. For me, the key was learning to prioritize. I started by making a list of tasks and focusing on the most important ones first. I also learned to say no when I needed to, which wasn't easy. Over time, I became better at organizing my day and making sure I had time for both work and relaxation. Managing time is still a challenge, but I've gotten better at balancing everything. 12. The joy of reading. Reading has always been one of my favorite hobbies. I love getting lost in a good book, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, or even a magazine article. It's like stepping into another world. When I was younger, I used to stay up late reading under the covers, unable to put my book down. Now, I make time every day to read, even if it's just for a few minutes. Reading helps me relax, learn new things, and even improve my vocabulary. It's a simple activity, but it has brought me so much joy over the years. 13. The challenge of staying fit. Staying fit is something I've always tried to prioritize, but it's not always easy. Between work and other responsibilities, it can be hard to find the time or motivation to exercise. For a while, I let my fitness routine slip, and I started feeling sluggish and tired. That's when I decided to make a change. I started small, with short walks or quick workouts, and gradually increased the intensity. Now, I make time for exercise at least 3 times a week, and I feel so much better. Staying fit requires discipline, but the benefits are worth it. 14. The value of education. Education is one of the most valuable things in life. It opens doors to new opportunities, helps us understand the world, and allows us to grow as individuals. I was lucky enough to have access to good education growing up, and it made a huge difference in my life. Now, I try to continue learning, whether it's through reading, taking online courses, or attending workshops. Education doesn't stop when you leave school. It's something we can pursue throughout our lives. I truly believe that knowledge is power, and we should never stop seeking it. 15. Coping with stress. Stress is something we all deal with, but learning how to cope with it is essential for our well-being. When I'm stressed, I find it helpful to take a step back and breathe. Sometimes I'll go for a walk or listen to music to clear my mind. Other times, I'll talk to a friend or family member for support. I've also learned to manage my stress by staying organized and not taking on too much at once. Life can be overwhelming at times, but having healthy ways to cope with stress makes all the difference. 16. The importance of friendship. Friendship is one of the most important aspects of life. Good friends offer support, laughter, and companionship during both good and bad times. I've been fortunate to have some really great friends in my life, and they've helped me through difficult moments. Friendship isn't just about having fun together. It's also about being there for each other when things get tough. It's a two-way street, and both people have to put in effort to keep the friendship strong. I truly believe that friends make life richer and more meaningful. 17. Dealing with change. Change is inevitable, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with. I've gone through several big changes in my life, from moving to a new city to changing jobs, and each time it's been a challenge. At first, change can feel scary because it takes us out of our comfort zone. But over time, I've learned that change is also an opportunity for growth. It forces us to adapt, learn new things, and become more resilient. Now, I try to embrace change instead of fearing it, even though it can still be difficult. 18. The impact of social media. Social media has changed the way we interact with the world. On the one hand, it's amazing to be able to stay connected with friends and family, even when they're far away. We can share photos, updates, and stay in touch easily. But there's also a downside. Social media can sometimes make us feel isolated, or like we're not doing enough, especially when we compare our lives to others. I've learned to use social media in moderation and remind myself that it's not always an accurate reflection of reality. It's a tool, but it's important to find balance. 19. The importance of setting goals. Setting goals has always been an important part of my life. Whether it's a personal goal, like improving my health, or a professional goal, like advancing in my career, having something to work towards keeps me motivated. I like to set both short-term and long-term goals, and I make sure they're realistic. It's easy to get discouraged if you aim too high too quickly. By setting smaller, achievable goals, I've been able to see steady progress. Reaching a goal gives me a sense of accomplishment and drives me to keep pushing forward. 20. The value of family. Family has always been a big part of my life. Whether it's my immediate family or extended relatives, I've always felt a strong connection to the people I grew up with. Family is there to support us, offer advice, and celebrate life's milestones. Of course, no family is perfect, and there are times when we argue or disagree. But at the end of the day, family is a source of love and stability. I've learned that it's important to appreciate and cherish the time we have with our loved ones, because family is irreplaceable. 21. The power of music. Music has always played an important role in my life. It's amazing how a single song can lift your spirits, help you focus, or even bring back a flood of memories. When I'm feeling down, I like to put on some of my favorite tracks and let the music wash over me. It's almost like therapy. Over the years, I've come to appreciate different genres, everything from classical to jazz to rock. Music is universal, and it has the power to bring people together, no matter where they're from or what language they speak. 22. Learning a new language. Learning a new language is one of the most challenging but rewarding experiences. I remember when I first started learning a second language. It felt overwhelming. There were so many new words, grammar rules, and sounds that were unfamiliar to me. But over time, I started to make progress, little by little. I practiced speaking, listening, and reading every day, and eventually, I began to feel more confident. Now, I can communicate with people in a language I didn't know before, and it's opened up a whole new world for me. It's a reminder that with persistence, we can achieve even the most difficult goals. 23. Balancing work and life. Finding the right balance between work and life can be difficult, especially in today's fast-paced world. I used to work long hours, often bringing work home with me, and it started to take a toll on my personal life. Eventually, I realized that I needed to set boundaries. I started to manage my time better, making sure I had time for hobbies, family, and relaxation. It wasn't easy at first, but I've learned that life is about balance. Now, I try to leave work at work and make the most of my free time. 24. Overcoming procrastination. Procrastination is something I've struggled with for years. It's easy to put off tasks, especially when they seem daunting or boring. I used to tell myself, I'll do it later, but later never came. The result? I would end up rushing to finish things at the last minute, feeling stressed and unprepared. Recently, I decided to tackle my procrastination head-on. I started breaking big tasks into smaller steps and setting deadlines for myself. Slowly but surely, I've become better at staying on top of things. Overcoming procrastination has improved both my productivity and peace of mind. 25. The beauty of nature. There's something incredibly calming about being in nature. Whether it's a walk through the forest, a day at the beach, or just sitting in a park, nature has a way of making us feel more connected to the world around us. I try to spend time outdoors whenever I can. It helps clear my mind and reduces my stress. I've also developed a deeper appreciation for the environment and the need to protect it. Nature reminds me that life is bigger than the daily grind, and sometimes we need to slow down and enjoy the beauty around us. 26. Facing your fears. Facing your fears is easier said than done, but it's one of the most important things we can do for personal growth. I've always had a fear of public speaking. The thought of standing in front of a crowd and delivering a speech used to make me feel nervous and anxious. But I knew it was something I had to overcome, so I started taking small steps. I practiced speaking in front of friends and family, and eventually, I signed up for a public speaking course. It wasn't easy, but with each experience, I became more confident. Now, public speaking doesn't scare me as much as it used to. 27. Building confidence. Confidence isn't something that happens overnight. It's something you build over time. When I was younger, I often doubted myself and my abilities. I would hesitate to take on new challenges because I was afraid of failing. But as I grew older, I realized that confidence comes from pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. I started taking risks, trying new things, and learning from my mistakes. Each small success helped boost my confidence, and now I approach challenges with a more positive mindset. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. 28. The importance of kindness. In a world that can sometimes feel cold or competitive, kindness goes a long way. I try to practice kindness in my daily life, whether it's helping a colleague with a project, listening to a friend in need, or even just offering a smile to a stranger. It's amazing how small acts of kindness can brighten someone's day. I've found that being kind not only benefits others, but also makes me feel happier and more fulfilled. Kindness is contagious, and the more we spread it, the better the world becomes. 29. The art of cooking. Cooking has always been one of my favorite pastimes. I love experimenting with new recipes and trying out different ingredients. For me, cooking is not just about preparing a meal. It's a creative process. There's something satisfying about taking raw ingredients and turning them into something delicious. Over the years, I've learned to appreciate different cuisines and cooking techniques. Whether it's a simple dish or something more elaborate, cooking brings me a sense of accomplishment and joy. It's also a great way to bring people together over a shared meal. 30. Taking time for yourself. In our busy lives, it's easy to forget to take time for ourselves. We get caught up in work, family, and responsibilities, and self-care often takes a back seat. I used to feel guilty about taking time for myself, but I've come to realize that it's essential for my well-being. Whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or just taking a few minutes to relax, self-care helps me recharge. It's important to remember that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary to be able to give your best to others. 31. Traveling alone. There's something freeing about traveling alone. It gives you the opportunity to fully experience the world around you without any distractions. I remember the first time I went on a solo trip. It was a bit nerve-wracking at first, but as soon as I started exploring, I realized how empowering it was. I was able to set my own pace, visit the places that interested me, and spend time reflecting on life. Traveling alone is not just about discovering new destinations, but also about discovering more about yourself. 32. The joy of learning. Learning is a lifelong process, and I've come to embrace it as a source of joy. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, reading a book, or learning something completely new, I enjoy the feeling of expanding my knowledge. Every time I learn something, it feels like I'm adding a new piece to the puzzle of life. It's exciting to think about how much there is to discover in the world. Learning keeps my mind sharp, and it also reminds me that no matter how much I know, there's always more to explore. 33. Embracing change. Change can be scary, but it's also a natural part of life. I used to resist change, holding on to what was familiar and comfortable. But over time, I've learned that change is necessary for growth. Whether it's a new job, moving to a different city, or even just adopting new habits, change can bring new opportunities and experiences. Now, instead of fearing change, I try to embrace it. I see it as a chance to learn something new and challenge myself in ways I hadn't imagined before. 34. The importance of family. Family is one of the most important aspects of my life. No matter what happens, I know I can